Hey everybody, it has been a long time. Obviously, there's my Christmas tree in the background. We are 3 days from Christmas Day, so I just wanted to start this video off by saying how sorry I am. Well, one, that's my heat. If you hear that annoying sound, it is loud. We can do anything about it, so I apologize. I don't know how to edit videos worth anything, so I can make that sound go away. It is just me. And if you ask my husband to do it, this man works on tractors for a living. He's not the one that's qualified. So, I just got my low battery notification. It's, like 3 in the morning. But I actually checked all of my folders for my email, for my Inside Out Diaries account, and realized that I got an email from someone back in June asking questions and just, saying that they'd like to hear more about what to be prepared for and expect, because it sounds like she's going through something very similar, if not exactly the same as what I went through. And I just want to apologize because I feel like I'm letting people down. I didn't make it a priority to do more videos because it didn't feel like I felt silly, and I think that's kind of a human flaw, right? Just we feel too self-conscious to go out and do something, even though it might help somebody. So with that email and then catching up on a few of the comments, it's not like my channel's super popular and I'm getting bombarded with them. I just don't expect them, so I don't check for them. But I realized that there is a couple of y'all at least, and you are finding some help in my videos, or just advice, or just, hey, it's not just me, there's other people going through similar or exact same things. So if I'm helping just one person, then that's the whole point of why I started to do this to begin with. So I need to get over my own self-esteem issues and make some more content. I'm definitely open to doing like more or less generalized videos if there's like a specific part or like subject within this stuff that y'all would like to hear about. Please let me know. You can email me. I promise I changed my filter settings so they won't go to spam. That's how I missed that first one. And I'll be checking it regularly. I have set alarms on my phone so I don't forget or get busy. I mean, it's the holidays. I'm recovering from my second surgery still, pretty much, well, not back to normal by any means, but definitely all the tough stuff's past me, thankfully. So life happens, and I'm not the best at doing things that I feel like or for me, and up until this point, I felt like it was just something I wanted to do to help people in theory, but did I think I was going to actually reach anyone? No. So it felt more like it was about me or for me versus reaching out to people that have seen the videos and they do think that it helps. So that's why I'm here. It's an apology video, and also to try to shed any extra light. So if you have questions or just want to hear more about something or something like that, and it's only about ileostomies or colonic inertia, feel free. Just because I've had the reversal surgery, I still went through that. That is all permanently seared in my brain. I'm happy to talk about that stuff. Just because I'm not an ostomate anymore doesn't mean that I don't want to talk about it anymore. I talk about it a lot of times. My husband's probably he could probably write a book about everything he's learned just from me not shutting up. If it's about reversals or the colectomy with the ileorectal anastomosis, or just colonic inertia, just chronic constipation all your life, how that affects you, about ileostomies, about bag changes, about how to fix leaks, anything it's no problem. If you want to know about something, just let me know in a comment or an email, and I will be happy to do that. That would make my day to be able to help somebody. So that was the point of the video. I'm going to try to give some more information and just kind of do some general updating, but also I might have mentioned it in my last video. I should really rewatch it, but I'm really bad about not watching them anymore to remember exactly what I said after I finally upload it, because we just got new internet, but before it would take like literally a whole 24 hours for them to upload. So if I didn't mention this in my last video, or even if I did, just a refresher, this is for people who are having the reversals, and they will be starting to go to the bathroom again the way most people are born to do so, out of the butt, out of your rectum. Because I had an ileorectal anastomosis when I had my colectomy. So my small intestine is now connected to my rectum. So I go like a average or typical person, but I don't have my large intestine, so it is different. And I would say not difficult. Very easy to get adjusted. I mean, you don't really have a choice. Your body's going to do what it's going to do, but it wasn't traumatic or anything like that. But when you start to use those muscles again, and they're having to remember how to do their job after however long it's been since you've had your ileostomy, it does take a minute for things to kind of slow down and even out. It's going to be, they don't know how to hold it in at all. It's just like when you have your ileostomy. So whenever you have stuff comes through the pipes, it comes right out into the bag. That's what it's used to doing. That's what your intestines are used to doing. Your muscles down there, I haven't been doing anything except for maybe the occasional passing of mucus, which is normal. And if I haven't covered that in my videos and y'all want to hear more about passing mucus while you have an ileostomy, please let me know, because they didn't really prepare me for that or tell me that that was a possibility. So the first time I felt the urge to go after I had my ileostomy, I was like, there's not supposed to be anything happening there. It's supposed to be out of commission. What is happening to me? What am I passing? Because I did the only thing that I think anyone would do is, I feel like I gotta go to the bathroom, even though I shouldn't. So I went and sat on the toilet. And it wasn't stool, obviously. It turns out it's mucus, and that's normal, and something I personally feel like I should have been warned about. Or at least, you know, hey, this can happen. Don't freak out. Nothing's wrong. Because I definitely made a slightly panicked phone call the next day. It's like, hey, something's coming out of somewhere it's not supposed to come out of anymore. Why? What is it? Do I need to come back to the hospital? What's going on? So it's normal. But anyway, getting back to my original point, your muscles aren't used to holding anything in. And as typical people go to the bathroom, whenever you're starting to need to go to the bathroom, maybe 30 minutes before, you would actually feel the urge to go. And I'm not talking about like, I gotta run. Your brain sends, your gut sends a signal to your brain, and your brain sends a signal back saying, we're gonna need to plan for a bathroom visit soon, but we're not there yet. And the way my surgeon explained it, there's 3 actual separate signals. The first one is just the initial ones going, hey, we've eaten, something's gonna happen in the near future. The second one is going, okay, we need to effectively plan within the next 5 to 10 minutes to be able to excuse ourselves to the bathroom. The third one is, it is now time to walk to the bathroom and go to the bathroom. So, and that makes sense. Those muscles down there, normally under a typical situation, I hate using the word normal because that's what's normal? Nothing is. We all have similar, but usually still unique to us situations whenever it comes to these kinds of things. So, long story short, once you have a reversal, and if you are going to be having an anastomosis, like I know some people have the J pouch, so they won't be using their rectum at all. They won't be passing stool that way. It'll be different. And I don't fully understand exactly how all of that works. I've never been educated in it. I should probably educate myself more, but I know that it's different. Like you have the Barbie butt surgery, so down there gets sewn up, so I know it's not coming out of there, or it's not supposed to. So, your muscles aren't used to doing their job. So like I said, it's like whenever you had the ileostomy, whenever it comes right out and into the bag as it comes. You don't wait until you need to pass a movement like we do downstairs. So it's going to come fast and whenever it feels like it needs to, because your muscles aren't used to having to do anything. They're just too relaxed, too out of practice, I guess you could say. So you're going to go a lot. That tends to make people raw. I was recommended for this before I had my ileostomy for the bowel prep because, you know, if you're like me, I had to do bowel prep, so I was going a lot before that surgery to get all cleaned out. This pin salve, I guess I'm pronouncing that right, sorry. It's a little gross. I should wipe it off. But I use gloves whenever I dip. But this stuff is essentially a diaper rash cream. It says it does a lot of other things, but it will only ever be for this intended purpose for me. Just because that's how my brain works. But, and that might be coming through on a mirrored image, but it's PINXAV. And you can get it in different sizes. I just went ahead and got the tub size comparison. I have a big face, but this is a big tube of diaper rash cream. It will stain your underwear. It's pink. It's bright. Hold on. Let's see if I can get it open. I haven't needed it in a couple weeks, so I'm excited about that, but it's a little runny. It's pink, like pale pink, like what some people would paint a baby girl's room in, perhaps very pastelish. Anyway, it will stain your underwear. It will stain your fingers. That's why I use gloves. Well, one of the reasons anyway. It will tingle a little bit. It feels kind of like menthol if you've ever used Icy Hot, except not that extreme, so don't panic. But you know, you get that little cooling, tingly feeling. It's just very, very mild, very, very minute. And it's soothing whenever you're raw. And it's a barrier. It soothes that chapped, irritated skin that hasn't been used for however long. Like in my case, it was 7 whole months, which doesn't seem that long compared to some people. It's not. But it's long enough for your body to be like, we forgot how to do our job. So I recommend getting that in advance. Gloves, it's your choice. But in the beginning, whenever you're dealing with something new, it seemed to help me. And I'm not a squeamish, like, person, but when you're touching your butt enough, just to be quite honest, it helps. Plus, we're washing our hands all the time with this global pandemic anyway. My hands are dry enough as it is. It's cold outside. Dry skin's already an issue. If I can use gloves and then wash my hands but not scrub them to get the pink stuff off, that's a good thing. Like if I can thoroughly, I mean, I'm washing my hands after every time, even with gloves. But if I'm not having to just everything every time, that's very nice. So, because that is thick. It's baking grease consistency, I guess. If you've ever had like played with diaper rash cream because you've had a baby or you've changed somebody's baby's diaper, it's the same stuff. It's just really, really thick. It doesn't wash off. You have to like kind of scrape and scrub it off. It's just really thick because it does its job well. I know I'm pretty sure I talked about the body armors already. I don't remember if I talked about that, but I think I did talk about body armors. As far as hydration, it's very similar with the ileostomy. After you have the reversal, you can still get dehydrated easily because you don't have that large intestine, which is responsible for most of the absorption of the fluid. So things are still going to go through quicker than your typical person, even after you start using your rectum again. And for me, okay, so today, since it's 3 in the morning, is December 23rd. And I had my surgery on November 5th, so that's how long it's been. 6 or 7, I'm not doing the math right now, and I'm using my phone to record, so I can't look at my calendar, and it's late. But I felt guilty, so I had to make this video now before I went to bed. Things are so much better already within this relatively short amount of time since my surgery than they were just 2 weeks after. Things have slowed down tremendously. Like with an ileostomy, you learn what can slow down your output, what you should avoid because it might slow it down too much and then you run into a blockage issue. Well, I've been cleared to eat whatever I want. Just start off slow, one new thing at a time, because you never know how your body's going to tolerate it. Same with the ileostomy, because you stopped a process and then restarted it with your bowels. So things can change. Say I tried something 2 weeks out. I wouldn't have tried something new that could have caused a blockage that soon after, because you're still swollen from surgery, even though one of my doctor's assistants said, try whatever you want. I had a blockage, if y'all may recall, from my ileostomy. I'm not going to just try whatever I want 2 weeks after surgery. I'm going to wait until I know without a shadow of a doubt that all of that swelling is gone. And I did. And I am proud to announce that I finally had a hamburger with pickles on it. Only 2. It had 4, 3, 4. Had more than 2. I took all of them off, but just 2. Everything was fine. I had a tomato on it as well, and I didn't have it peeled. Fine. Now, of course, I'm still chewing really well, just like I did with my ileostomy. It's more of a habit at this point, but better safe than sorry. There should be no viable reason I should have to do that. But I'm just trying to let common sense prevail here. I'm not always good at that, but we're rocking with it now, because having a blockage sucks, and it's kind of traumatic, and I think I have a little bit of, like, not trying to joke here, but, like, paranoia, PTSD style going on. I have not tried as many things as I thought I would have at this point, because when the time came to it, I'm, like, just remembering the nightmare of the NG tube when I had my blockage, because that was so awful. But, all of my wounds, including my ostomy wound, have completely closed up now as of 3 days ago, so that's new. All of the port wounds where they went in laparoscopically have been closed. Those were the stapled ones. I had those removed at my follow-up, which was exactly 2 weeks after my surgery. Everything went great with that. I've never had any issues with infection. I mean, just, you know, bathe yourself. Don't scrub it with soap. Let everything drain off of it. Dry it well. Pat dry. Don't rub or let's dry off. Don't do that. It's gonna still be very sensitive skin. It can get irritated really easily. So I had to use I feel confident I would have mentioned this in the hospital, but actually I might have made the video before they took the wound vac out. I'm just going to pretend that I made the video before they took the wound vac out, and I'm going to just tell you about it from there. So I might have it in reach. No. Calcium alginate it looks like wool. I apologize if I did already say this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. It looks like kind of wool, except it's white, silvery white, like, kind of like hair, blonde hair, but like you've seen people do the silvery more version of it, like the really platinum silvery version of it. It's very fine. You can just pull it apart, like kind of like wool. And that's what I packed into my wound from where my ostomy used to be. They do close up the inner layers underneath. You just still will have a hole because it's got to heal from the inside out. So eventually it will be like this, but it started as a hole, for lack of a better way of describing, an open wound. Not just a cut or a little puncture, but it was about that deep. What size comparison? About that deep, no kidding, when it first happened, which sounds super overwhelming and super like, I mean, there's not supposed to be holes in your body that big. But I promise you, other than it being really sensitive and sore right after surgery, which I'm sure we can all expect that, it wasn't any trouble. Like I said, I'm not grossed out easily. I'm not squeamish, blood, guts. None of that really bothers me. My mom, if I couldn't handle it and I needed my mom's assistance to pack it, I'd have to go back to the hospital every time I changed it. She cannot handle it. But it's not bad. It's not like it's like super like oozy and gross. I mean, if it is, then that's a sign of infection, so you should have that checked. It's going to do something, but not like an infected boil or anything like that. It's not just gonna be like bubbling over. I'm sorry, that's probably really gross, but I'm having trouble trying to describe this where it doesn't sound awful. whenever you take the packing out, it will have stuff on it other than blood. Blood's gotta happen. It's an open wound and it's healing from the inside out again. So you're not going to get a scab on the inside. I only got a scab once it had finally come up to the surface and, like I said, kind of closed up like that. I had a scab and now it's smooth. It's scar tissue, it's bright purple, looks great. I'm not trying that for any swimsuit contests anyway, so I'm not really upset about it, and I'm married and my husband's happy with me and I'm happy with him, so not a concern. But I mean, it's a scar. Scars tell a story. It's something you lived through and got past. So I don't mind my scars because I have quite a few from the port wounds where they went in with the tools laparoscopically, and then now this one. Obviously this one's the biggest one. It's nowhere near the size the wound was after surgery because it was about, you know, that big. Like if you're looking at your ostomy on your belly and it takes up this space, then it's going to be this much space that they cut out because they cut around it to not leave any scar tissue to try to heal with the new scar tissue that's going to heal. So it's a big circle, but now I'll try to add some pictures at the end of what it looks like now. So it started about yay big. It's flatter and kind of looks more like that, and it's purple, flat, smooth skin. This is gonna sound silly, but this is one of the things I said I could use. You can use things that people would use for like stretch marks on their bellies after they're pregnant, or if they've just like had weight loss surgery, or any of the reasons you get stretch marks living for me. But I use chapstick, just plain chapstick, because it's thick, it's good, it's got things in it that nourish your lips, so that's what I use. It's one of the things they told me I could use. So I have a dedicated chapstick thing that I just rub on those where the scars and the healing is, and it's helped a lot. Let's see. Like I said, that last one fully closed up where I'm not putting any kind of band-aid, any covering. It's not making any kind of liquid or anything like that as of 3 days ago. You just pack the calcium alginate in there. You'd be surprised how much you can pack into those things, because it feels like you're just never gonna stop. As it gets smaller, you'll use less and less, obviously. In the end, I was just tearing off just the tiniest little tuft and putting it kind of on top because there really wasn't deep enough to like push it in, and it hurt because it's sensitive. It's open flesh. It's going to hurt. It's not unbearable. It's not something that you're gonna absolutely dread doing. If you take your time, wash your hands, and pull off what you think you need, you can always add more. If you don't get the right amount, you can always add more. And then you just place it as gently as you can in your wound. And then what they taught me to do was use a 4x4, just gauze, non-stick, no adhesive gauze pad on top of that, and then taped around it. You can also use big band-aids. You just want something that's not going to stick on the wound itself, but the calcium alginate that's in your wound does a good job of keeping it from getting stuck, so whenever you peel it off, you're not ripping it out of there. That doesn't feel great. I did mess up my placement once, and that happened, and didn't do that again. What else? So right in the beginning, you are producing more liquids in that wound, so you just keep an eye on it. Obviously, you're not going to want to keep peeling up, the edges of your band-aid or your gauze or your tape or whatever, because your skin has already been through enough. I will tell you, that's one thing, probably one of my biggest complaints, and in the grand scheme of things, it's not that big of a deal. It will heal. My skin is so tired of having things stuck to it. With the ostomy wafers and flanges being stuck to it constantly, never really getting a chance to breathe oxygen for more than a few minutes during a bag change. And now, well, not anymore, but like after surgery, it felt like I was just doing it all over again, just different process, because there was Band-Aid, gauze, tape on top of, like, back to back to back while it was healing. And that's just to keep it safe from getting infected and getting outside. Like, you get the fuzz off your shirt and waistlines and stuff like that from your pants. You just want to keep it clean and dry. After I took a shower, I will replace it. I'm not doing anything with my life right now. I've not started back going to work yet. They just wanted to wait till my muscles, where my wounds were, where it was cut, heal more. I have not been cleared to drive yet. Although I didn't specifically ask if I could. She didn't tell me I could. So that's my fault. I got about halfway home, and I live 2.5 hours away from the hospital / doctor's office. It's all in the same building. And I wasn't going to turn around and go back and ask that question. It'll be discussed at my follow-up on Wednesday, and I can make another follow-up video about that and what they say then if you'd like. I've only had one follow-up since then. Everything went great. That's when I got the staples out. Like I said, she told me about once they heal up, using the chapstick or something similar of that kind of consistency. That, like, I want to say shea butter was an option. I just constantly have chapstick, so it was really easy for me to be like, this is the chapstick that I'm going to use for that. Everything else is for my lips. This is for my belly. Everything's healing actually quicker and more easily than I expected it to. I just kind of expected it to be a really long road, and arguably it's been almost 2 months, and that may seem like it feels a long time, but it doesn't feel like it was 2 months ago. Like, on one hand, I'm like, no, I'm so much better than I was. Of course it's been 2 months ago almost. And then on the other hand, it's like, I just had surgery. Depending on what I'm doing. If it's something that I don't want to do, I'm like, no, I just had surgery. I don't feel like doing that yet. I don't feel comfortable. And it's usually making plans with people, because I like being home. And I like making plans with friends, but I don't like leaving my house. So I haven't figured out how to figure that out, just to be honest. But other days, if it's something I want to do, like I want to go hang out with my sister and watch a movie at her house, then I'm going to do it because I want to do it. And I also know that if I have to run to the bathroom, because I'm still going more frequently, and it will slow down even more. I'm tracking it on an app, so on average it's from 4 to 7 times a day. Just depending on what I'm eating and what I'm doing, and if I'm making sure I'm drinking enough, which I should do that every day. But the more you drink, the more it moves, because you're staying hydrated. But then you can counter that by what you're eating at the same time. Still big advocate for applesauce. I haven't needed to do it very often, just to be honest. It's nothing like the consistency now that I've kind of fine-tuned my diet since surgery, and now that I'm starting to introduce things that weren't considered safe by my nutritionist during an ileostomy, like salad. I have not eaten a whole salad, but I did eat roughly half of a side salad. I love salad. I haven't had one since March of this year. And definitely like panicked about it, just like I said, for the paranoia earlier, but it was fine. I didn't have any issues. I didn't struggle to go to the restroom. It was just like I'd eaten something that I'm used to eating, like potatoes or chicken. What else? I will be having steak for the first time tomorrow. I'm excited about that. I'm probably going to overthink it a little bit, just because that's who I am as a person. Do I need to? Probably not. Am I? Probably. But like I said, I haven't changed how I'm chewing. I'm still going by the chew, chew, chew model like we did whenever I started my ileostomy. I mean, that's not going to hurt anything. That's just good for digestion for the average person, so I'm not going to stop now. Plus, I do it without thinking about it now. So it's like I'd have to tell myself to speed up at this point and be like, oh yeah, I can chew faster if I want. But who wants to wolf down their food? I want to taste it, especially now that I'm getting to eat things that I haven't eaten in so long that I've been wanting to eat. Like, I cannot wait, because I planned on soon making a tray of roasted vegetables. It's something I used to do a lot, and I really love it. But I'm waiting until I've tried each individual vegetable that I'm going to roast, because you do it like a mixed medley of vegetables: carrots, broccoli, cauliflower, sometimes even like cherry tomatoes, stuff like that. But I'm going to try everything individually and see how I react to it, because just because it doesn't cause a blockage doesn't mean your system's going to agree with it right away. I haven't tried all of those things. Tomatoes I know are fine. I haven't tried carrots or cauliflower. I've done broccoli and did fine. I mean, as with your average person, it causes gas. But now everything causes gas because I'm more aware of it, because it's not just going into the bag. And sometimes you're aware of it, then obviously it makes noise. But not every time. Sometimes you lay down and you're like, whoop, gotta go relieve some of that pressure. Now I'm aware because I feel it. I didn't always feel it, or most of the time didn't feel it unless it was like right after surgery where I still had a lot of extra sensitivity in that area. And unless it made noise, I didn't know I was doing it until I looked down. I was like, oh, bag's inflating. Now I'm aware, obviously. So it feels like, does nothing not cause gas anymore? No, everything does. Everything always did, but it was a normal part of your life before. And now it's like, I haven't done this in almost a year. It's weird. Another thing I want to talk about is, so obviously after I had my surgery, my ileostomy surgery back in April, that came with a lot of mental, I'm not gonna say mental issues like I got depression or anything, but it came with like insecurities, I guess is a better way to put it. I worried about how I would see myself with a bag. I worried about what my husband would see me, how others, my loved ones, my friends would see me, if their perception would be any different. None, of course they weren't. And if you have somebody in your life that's giving you a hard time or making you feel insecure, you're not the problem, is all I'm going to say about that. They need to work past their issues, because this is something that's completely normal. You're doing something to better improve your life. A surgeon's not going to cut on you. Well, I'm not going to say that. I'm sure there are some greedy surgeons out there that'll perform a surgery that's not necessary or not even recommended for you. But for the most part, surgeons don't just do things to get a paycheck, because there's too much litigation going on in the world now. We are in a society that wants to sue. I don't want to work when I can sue somebody. That seems to be the general consensus. So you had this surgery for a reason. It's improving your life. Doesn't mean there's not going to be rough days or bad days, or maybe even a rough few days in a row. But these are things you can learn from and work through. And if it's something you think I can help you with, answer your questions, give you advice, maybe I went through it and here's how I worked through it, please let me know. I'm happy. That's what I want out of this channel. And if you don't want to leave it in a comment, if you feel like it's too personal to leave it in a comment, feel free to email me. It's insideoutdiaries@gmail.com. And again, I promise I'm going to be checking those regularly, even the spam folders, just in case. You're doing this for you. And if somebody's opinion is negative towards your looks or just kind of what's going on with you, I'm just going to say this again. I'm not going to talk crap about somebody, but I'm going to tell you that's not your problem. That's not something you need to fix. That's something that they need to look within and fix. So don't let anybody talk down to you or make you feel less than in any way. So, because I've heard stories, thankfully I'm not in that situation, but not everybody's in a situation like I am. So, going back, I'm really bad at telling direct stories. I have to go off on little tangents. So I apologize. It's just how my brain works. So I had insecurities after that surgery. I got past them completely. By the end of it, my husband was probably going, I love you. There's nothing that will ever make me not love you. But please stop talking about output and what you're eating and what it looks like when it comes out. I'm fine with listening to it sometimes, but I'm tired of hearing about it. But it's kind of what was going on with me. And you talk about your day. He came home from work and talked about work. Well, this is what I dealt with, so that's what I'm going to talk about. But, yeah, I had some insecurities after the reversal as well. Because at first, I was like, my entire belly's going to be scarred, or my entire belly is scarred. Look at all these holes. Look at all these wounds. They're never going to be not visible. And then I got over it, because I was sitting here thinking, what would I tell somebody else in my position? What did I say in past videos if I mentioned it? What will I say in my next video. Again, if somebody's got a problem with it, that's not your problem. That's their problem. Why am I going to be harsh on myself when, most importantly, the man I married could not care less about that? He doesn't see it. It doesn't even factor in for him. He is happy. He knows they're there. He's not ignoring them, but he's not focused on them, which is a blessing. He's a wonderful man. But it was a me problem with my mental image of myself. But again, this is something I did to better myself, to make me healthier, to make me happier, to make my life more fuller. So why would I be ashamed of the proof of that? Because that's what scars are, proof that we got through something. Might not have been something we wanted to go through. Might have been an accident that we went through. But the point is, if you're alive to say, this is this scar, it was something you went through and came out the other side. So that's what's important. I'm trying to think of anything else. Like I said, I'm starting to try new foods. I've tried several. Everything's gone great. No concerns. My only complaint right now is the muscle. I'm not going to show you because I'm in pajamas. I was going to go to bed and then I felt guilty because I finally found that email. So I'm not stage ready. Not that I ever am in any of my videos, but right where your hip bones are, that muscle that comes up into your abdomen, your belly button's like belly button, hip bones. There's muscles and tendons that stretch kind of towards your belly button from kind of underneath the top of your hip bones if you're feeling around down there. I've got extra fluff to feel through, but those muscles exist on everybody. Whether you're small or big, skinny, tall, it doesn't matter. They're there. Where on my right side, where they had one of the port wounds for the laparoscopic surgery, it's still sore. I have one on the other side and it's not sore. It is entirely possible that I did this to myself in my sleep. I fall asleep in a completely normal position and then wake up like a spider monkey. So it's entirely possible that I did this to myself because it wasn't this sore 4 days ago. Past couple days, it's been very sore. Like, I can walk, I can do things. Am I ready for a running or jumping or skipping contest? No. Was I actually ready for those ever since kindergarten? No. So it's not held me back. It's something that I'm nursing. Like, I'm not getting up too quick or anything like that. I'm still using my arms to help me up out of bed, out of the recliner, what have you. I'm getting in and out of cars very carefully. Not something I'm doing a lot right now. Like I said, I'm not back at work. I'm still on leave for the surgery. So the worst thing I have to encounter with moving that area is if I have to go off of my porch and go down those steps. And if I do, I lead with my left foot and then bring my right foot to it, lead with my left foot down the next step. So I don't go step, step, step. I go step, step, if that makes sense. And that makes it not hurt. It's not going to hurt me. It's not bothering me. It's not making it worse. It's not going, I forgot I pulled that and I just made it worse. It's nothing like that. Pulled muscles take a while to heal. I think I pulled it. I really do. I really think I did it in my sleep because I have done nothing. I have done nothing with my life. Hardly, other than plan a charcuterie board for Christmas that I'm pretty sure I can't even pull off. That's been my biggest highlight. And petting my cat who sits in my lap. Again, not doing anything stressful or strenuous there. She comes to me. I don't even have to go to her. It's the best thing. I do have my puppy, and he's full of energy, so I tend to delegate the walks to my husband because he's a saint and a able-bodied man, and if that dog jerks me one good time, it would be bad. So I'm just not taking the risk. He is going for puppy lessons. Thank you, Lord. But anyway, I know I'm rambling. I'm just trying to make sure I'm covering everything I wanted to cover in this video. If you want me to elaborate more on something, like I haven't talked your ear off already. Feel free. I'm happy to do it. You will probably get more rambling, but I will definitely try to completely cover at least that one subject you asked. You're probably going to get a few other subjects, but I will cover as much as I can the subject you asked for. Or questions, or comments, or just curiosities, whatever. It doesn't matter. Message me, comment on this video, or any other video, or email me. I really am happy to make more videos. If it's about, like I said, ileostomies, colonic inertia, just being constipated your entire life, because that sucks. Ileostomy reversal itself, ileostomy reversal with the colectomy, with an ileorectal anastomosis, about how it was like going to the bathroom after that. I don't have any shame. I'm here to help, and if that's a question you have and you want me to answer it, then that's what I'm here for. There's some things I've not gone into great detail on because there's a chance that it's just gross and nobody actually wants to know that much information, but if you do, I'm happy to tell you. I just don't want to do it if you don't want to hear it. What else? Like I said, that's the only spot I'm sore. Everything is sensitive. I'm not going to go around letting somebody punch me in the stomach, obviously. But things are a little sensitive, but I can take my hand and rub down my belly like that and not go, ah. So, that's an improvement. It was very tender after surgery. It's a slow process. The biggest thing that I haven't recovered from as much as I want to, but not surprisingly, is I haven't got my energy back. But I'm not doing anything. I'm making sure I'm walking every day, and I'm trying to walk a little bit further, a little bit longer each time, just like I did with my ileostomy surgery. I bounced back slightly faster than with my ileostomy surgery than I am with this one. But this one was a lot more involved. I lost a roughly 5-foot organ. There was more going on this time. More wounds, for example, alone. That slows things down. I'm just now starting to branch out into what I would consider healthier foods, because I felt like, this is not exactly true, but I felt like for the most part I was eating potatoes and chicken because those were safe. I knew what to do, how to cook them, every way under the sun, so they wouldn't give me a blockage. I wasn't scared of them. And now I'm starting to get back into things that started green whenever they came out of the earth, or the fact that they came out of the earth at all. Vegetables, stuff like that. It's exciting. I have had absolutely no issues with constipation, which that's always the goal. That should be the case. But I guess I was just always paranoid before I had either of these surgeries that I've lived my entire life with constipation. What if it comes back? What if somehow I'm the only idiot on this earth that has this surgery and is still constipated? Yes, it's possible to get constipated, but if you're living with common sense and you're being mindful of how you chew, making sure you're staying hydrated, it's realistically not hardly going to happen. It'd be really hard to get constipated if you're doing those things. I have eaten so much dairy and cheese since this last surgery, and even with my ileostomy, because this whole my entire life I was diagnosed with lactose intolerance. Couldn't enjoy a milkshake, couldn't enjoy Mexican food because there's cheese on everything. No shame, I love cheese, it just didn't love me. Stuff like that. I can enjoy ice cream. I had to always do like the substitutes, the lactose substitute, whether it's Lactaid milk or almond milk or soy-based, whatever. Turns out I wasn't actually lactose intolerant, but all my constipation issues made me not be able to break down lactose. Because after I had the ileostomy surgery, and because I would always just, how hard is it to avoid cheese? Really hard. For me. Cheese is in everything. My husband loves cheese. My family loves cheese. All my friends love cheese. Mexican is like the consensus whenever we're like, we haven't gone out to eat in a while. Where do you want to go? Mexican? Mexican. Yeah. So, I have eaten so much and enjoyed it, and it's not caused me any issues. It's just brought me just pure unbridled joy that it doesn't hurt anymore. I can't tell you. It's been difficult going through this. It's been a recovery. They're going to be difficult, but they don't last forever, and the result afterward, I wish I'd have done it sooner. I wish I'd have found the doctor that listened to me sooner. Because I went through 3 specialists before I made myself an appointment with where my surgeon actually is. I didn't even wait for another referral from my PCP. I just made my appointment myself, and they were like, we can do something about this. I was like, really? Because 3 other guys, specialists in your same field, told me I had to live like this, that there was nothing I could do, or that it was my fault because I wasn't eating a proper diet. I literally kept a food log, but because I couldn't lose weight, because I'm not going to the bathroom, nothing is leaving my body to lose. Do you know how hard it is to lose weight when you're constipated? Impossible. If you're going through this, you already know. I'm preaching to the choir, but you can't hardly lose weight if you're not getting rid of the stuff you're supposed to be getting rid of to begin with. It's holding on to everything, the things it shouldn't hold on to. It's waste. I've lost a reasonable, safe amount of weight, and I'm maintaining it. I am now in the healthy BMI index range for my height and my weight. For the first time in at least 8 years. I have been in the overweight to obese category that entire time. The only time I wasn't was when I was young and growing up, and I hadn't got there yet. And I was active in sports, and I did swim team and volleyball and basketball and all this other stuff. But as you grow, you slow down anyway as far as your motility. Now, is that supposed to happen before you reach 30? Not usually. Did for me. It's a common thing in older age. Nothing to be ashamed of. It happens to almost everyone. Sometimes it goes the other way. Things change when we get older, but at 20 years old, I couldn't make it to class in college because I couldn't leave the bathroom. I couldn't get to my bed, let alone class. It was miserable. This has changed my life for the better. I can't tell you how much I encourage you to go through with the surgery, or to at least talk with your surgeon, ask questions. If you're not comfortable with the answers you're getting or the lack of answers you're getting or anything like that, find another surgeon, find another doctor, find another gastroenterologist specialist, whatever you need to do. Because I promise you, it took me 4 tries to find the right one. And it might take you more. You might get lucky on the first try, but if you're not feeling right about something, something's not setting right with you, you feel like you're not being, like, you feel almost dismissed, or you feel like they're not taking you seriously, or you feel like they're dismissing your questions with half answers, you don't have to put up with that. I promise you. It's so worth it. Was it easy every step of the way? No. Was it absolutely worth it? Would I do it again if I had to? Absolutely. Without a doubt. So I hope this video helps. I'm at 48 minutes now. I promise I will do better. But y'all let me know what you want to hear about. Yeah, I can't think of anything else I need to include in this one. I'm happy to make as many videos as I need to. I can make a video about multiple things if I get multiple requests. I can make a video about just one subject as best as I can without rambling. I can do whatever I need to do. If you just want more about something I've already talked about, if you want to ask me something that maybe I haven't touched on because I didn't think to, whatever it is, it doesn't have to be about the surgeries. It could be living with chronic inertia. It could be about mental health, going through this stuff with surgery. It could be about anything like that. Just prep for surgery. It doesn't matter. I'm happy to talk about anything. I'm an open book. You just ask and I will deliver. But until then, I'm going to try to upload pictures of what my scars look like now versus when I had the surgery, because I think I put some of those pictures in my last video. Maybe. If I didn't, I'll include those too. I have a whole album, so it'll be easy. If I can figure out how to do it again, because that took me an embarrassing amount of time for a 29-year-old to figure out. But yeah. Also, you can email me and I'll send you pictures. That sounds really weird. I will send you pictures relevant to the things we are discussing in these videos. But we're in this together. Don't ever forget it. You are not alone, and it's not even just us. There's a whole community out there. And if you find that you're wanting even more resources, like maybe you want to know about the people I found, or the blogs, or the videos, or just even there's TikTok videos of ostomates out there, y'all. Trust me. If you want resources, I have a smorgasbord of them. I can send you resources. If you want to email me and ask for links about something specific, do that, and I'll send you the things relevant to that. Because if you don't have colonic inertia and you don't want to hear about it, but you do have an ileostomy, or you're going to have an ileostomy, or you're going to have a reversal, I can send you things relevant to just that. So you're not getting all this other extra information you don't need. I will do whatever I can to help y'all. That's why I started to do this in the first place. But anyway, good night, YouTube. Thanks for being there for me too. It was really encouraging to see your comments and the email, even though I'm pathetically late on that. I hope you see this video. If you're the one that emailed me, I've only gotten one email, so if you email me, it's you. I'm so sorry it took me so long to do this, and I'm so sorry that my filters put you in spam, and I literally never check spam, but I will never make that mistake again. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're all doing well. Anyone who watches this, I wish you just nothing but positivity and health. And y'all have a great time. Until next time.